Hello and welcome to today's Spotlight. My name is Jaccqueline and my job role is Senior Wellbeing Officer. So, my current job role is Senior Wellbeing Officer. But prior to this, I worked for over 22 years as a teacher. So I was teaching British Sign Language, or BSL, and I taught BSL level 1 right the way up to level 6. And soon I'll be setting up an interpreter training course as well. So level 1 is where people will learn basic signs. Level 2 becomes more difficult, then level 3 is even more advanced, and by level 6 people on the course can train to become BSL interpreters. I've spent many years putting my heart and soul into teaching the hearing community and helping them become fluent in BSL. So, my old job, going back even further, I think over 30 years ago in fact, I was a clothes designer. Designing beautiful clothes. I absolutely adore clothes and I felt very passionate about fashion design. I applied to go to Doncaster College to study fashion design, and I had an interview and got accepted. But they said not to go to the Deaf College but instead to go to the Hearing College. Being told this really knocked my confidence, and I wanted to know why I couldn't go to the Deaf College. They explained this was because of my level of English and I was better to go to the Hearing College with support. I just felt discriminated against, and it took me back to being in school again. I was made to go to a hearing school with no interpreter or a CSW to support me, and I felt that discrimination again. I received sponsorship to attend the college, but I pulled out. I didn't want to go. They had different rules there, linked to funding, and that actually affected me because I'm half Irish and also half British. So it just made it too difficult. So I withdrew my application and I found a course myself and went there to become a fashion designer. So I went to work at a factory full of hearing people as a seamstress on the sewing machines, and I was working with clothes, but I just knew deep down it wasn't the right job for me. So I decided to change jobs. So I went over to Ireland to work in a 5-star hotel. And there I worked as a chef's assistant. So I stayed there for 3 years and I made some lovely relationships there. But again, I just knew it wasn't the job for me. So then I moved to London, where I went to college and I studied level 2 in business studies. Really enjoyed it. And I went working for the courts for a year, and this was an interesting role. And at that same time, I was actually using Irish Sign Language and British Sign Language, so it was all a bit confusing. So I decided to go to Lit College to learn level 2 BSL. And at Lit College, my teacher there, her name was Linda. And she noticed that I was from Ireland. I was like, oh, absolutely, I'm proud to be Irish. All the other students on the course were actually from Europe. They were European. So there was some there from Spain, from France, Lithuania. And they seemed to be struggling. It was quite difficult with learning BSL because of it being two-handed. Obviously Irish Sign Language is one-handed, and the teacher asked me to stand up at the front of the class. I was so nervous, but I did do, and from then I started using both hands to sign and using BSL rather than just the one hand. And it was from that moment on, it was almost like an awakening. I knew that I wanted to become a teacher. So from then, I spent over 22 years teaching students level 1 right the way up to level 6 in BSL. And yeah, I really enjoyed my 22 years of teaching. I am a fully qualified teacher. I gained my degree at Bolton University. I've always been ambitious and wanted to learn more and gain more qualifications, progress further, and I think that stems from being discriminated against in school and being told that you can't become a teacher, you can't become a hairdresser, you can't do this, you can't do that. But you know what? It made me stronger and more determined to succeed, and I have achieved a lot. I have a successful business. I'm a qualified internal verifier, which means that I can check and verify portfolios. And just recently, actually, I've had a major achievement. I've become a registered trainee deaf relay interpreter. So I'm hoping in the next year or two that I'll become fully qualified. And that really is my absolute dream. So now I am a senior wellbeing officer. I've given a lot of time over the years to the hearing community, helping them progress, to become interpreters. But I had to look inside, and my heart is with the deaf community. So I decided to work with deaf clients, and wow, did I cry at first. It really hit me. These clients need me. I'm their role model, and they learn from me. So I'll give you an example. One client came to me unsure of what to do. So I explained that I've been a wellbeing officer now for 3 years, and it's the best job I've ever had. I can't begin to explain how much I love my job. I give a lot to the deaf clients, and I remind them of the British Deaf Association, the BDA. They should look up to the BDA as it's their future. The BDA fought for the BSL Act, they fight for deaf education. I don't want my clients and other deaf people to go through what I went through growing up. I want a new future, I want a new chapter for my clients. I want them to understand their identity and their background. So the clients love coming to the Deaf Village. There's some wonderful role models here, deaf staff that are wonderful role models, and the clients come here and it's changed their lives. And for me, that is just wow. I want to carry on working here until I retire in 6 years. No.